Hello and welcome back to How to Be a Terminal Pro. This is Jesse Shaw, and in this video we'll be discussing editing files within the terminal. So we can go ahead and open it up here. I'm going to go into my sites directory because that's where I have the files that we'll be working on. So the first program that we'll use is Nano to edit this poem.txt file. So to show you what's in there, it's just a pretty standard poem here. So to start using the Nano editor, you just type in nano and then the name of the file that you'd like to edit. So we'll do nano poem.txt. So we hit enter and now we are able to edit it. So we can move around with the arrow keys. So I'm just pressing down and now right, down, and you can go up and left. Pretty standard here. We can also cut and paste lines, but we can only do it for a line at a time. So to cut a line, you just do Control K, and that cuts it. And then to paste a line, we do Control U. And in case you forget these, we really have all of these commands down here at the bottom. So we were just using the cut text and uncut text. To copy a line, we can just get a little bit creative here. So we can cut the line and then immediately paste it, but it's still saved in our cut memory buffer there. So we can paste it again there and here and there as well. And we can save a file by using Control O or write it out. So we'll do Control O and it asks me what name I want to save it as. So if I do poem.txt, it will overwrite the original one with this here, which is okay. So we'll hit enter. But if you wanted to save it as a new file, you just type in a new file here. So we'll hit enter. So that just saved it. And then we can exit out of the editor by hitting Control X. So since we already had it saved, it exited fine. But let's go back in and I'm going to type some new stuff here. If I try to exit out, it'll say, hey, wait, do you want to save this modified buffer? So we can just hit yes to save it, and then we can hit enter. So that will save the changes there. We can also search for text within Nano by using Control W. So let's go back in here, poem.txt. And Control W down here says where is. So we'll hit Control W and I'm looking for be cautious. So we hit enter and it finds it there. We can also find a next occurrence by hitting Control W again and see how it already has be cautious in those brackets there. If I hit enter, it'll find the second one and I can just keep doing that throughout the whole file. And it will just keep wrapping around finding those new instances. So we can also search and replace by doing Control \. So that's not one of the commands that's listed down here. So you'll have to remember this one. But Control \. It says search to replace be cautious. Yeah, let's use that one. So we will use be cautious and we'll replace it with be aware of. So we'll hit enter and it will ask me for each instance whether I want to replace it. So I can hit yes, yes, yes. And there's also an option to hit A. So if I just hit A, it'll just do all of them at once. So instead of be cautious, it has now replaced all of those with be aware of. So that is pretty cool there. So the next editor that I'm going to show you is Vim, and it's a little bit more powerful than Nano. You can do quite a few more things with it. So in order to get into the Vim editor, you just type in vim and then the name of the file that you'd like to edit. So we'll do index.php here. So I hit enter and I see I have these lines here. It's just some code here. I got a standard for loop and it's just echoing out hello world, wrapped in PHP tags, of course. So there are two modes to Vim. You can be in normal mode where whenever you type a character, it's interpreted as a command, or you can be in insert mode. But first, I'd like to show you normal mode. So we can use commands to move around the text file, just like we did in Nano. So I'm pressing the down key, or you can move right or up or left. That all works just about the same. You can also move back to the beginning of the file by pressing GG. This is lowercase g twice, so it jumps right back up there. We can also move between paragraphs. So if I do a curly brace, so that's shift curly brace, it'll move me to the beginning of a paragraph, or if I do the closing curly brace, it'll move me to the end there. So I can also go to the end of a line by using a $sign, so that's shift 4 here for me. We'll just jump there. Or we can go to the beginning of a line by doing a caret, so that's shift 6. And we could just jump there. So if you're familiar with regular expressions, then you know that the caret denotes the beginning of a line and the $ denotes the end of a line. So we can also show some line numbers in this file if we go ahead and type in a command. So I'm going to hit Shift : here. So see at the bottom how it's now changed to a colon. We can type in set number, and pressing enter will just add line numbers to this so I can see where I am here. We can also turn on syntax highlighting by pressing Shift : again, where we can type in this command and then just type in syntax on. So Vim has this really nice way of showing me what's a string and what's a command and different things like that. So we can also jump to a different line number rather than pressing the up and down keys by just pressing the colon and then the line number. So if I want to jump to line 5, I just do :5, press enter. Or I could do :2, press enter, :3, and so on. You can just jump to whatever line you like. Okay, so now that we know how to navigate about the text file, I'd like to show you how we can start editing some of this text. So to start inserting text at the cursor, you just move it to wherever you want, and then you press a lowercase I. So this will put us in insert mode, and I can see that it's changed because it says insert down here. And now we can just kind of type just as we were doing before. So pretty standard there, just typing and backspacing, whatever you want to do. You can press enter and move about the file as well. We can also use a capital O to open a new line above the current line. So to get out of insert mode and get back to this command mode, we just hit escape. So I see the insert goes away and I can go wherever I want. So within this for loop, I want to put a line of text above print. So I will use Shift O for a capital O. So it inserts this line above print and puts me in insert mode. So now I can say echo hey there or something, whatever you want to do. And then again, press escape to get out of insert mode. So I can also use a lowercase o to insert a line below the current line. So currently we're on line 4. If I just type in lowercase o, it opens a new one right below it, and then I can do whatever I want there. We can also use a capital S to delete the current line and enter insert mode. So let's say we're on this line here, and I want to just wipe it out and start typing something new entirely. So I can just do Shift S, and it does just that. It wipes out line 5, and then it lets me start inserting whatever I want. So we can escape to get out of insert mode, and we're back in normal mode now. So you can move around, and I want to show you how to replace text. So whenever we have our cursor above a character here, we can just type a lowercase r, and it'll let us just replace. So for H, I can type in U, and it'll be there. I can press lowercase r and type in F. But if I do it anywhere else, nothing will happen. It'll just give me this like little error message. I can also use a capital R to continually replace. So we'll do Shift R, and now every time I type, it will just replace the character that the cursor is over. So to show you what I mean, I'll just say, hello, Jesse. So for each one of these, it's just deleting the character that the cursor was under and then putting in the new one there. So it's a little bit similar to insert, but also a little bit different. Okay, so we'll hit escape to get out of this mode and go back to normal mode. So we can undo and redo some of these commands and changes that we've made by these commands here. So we can type in U to undo a change, and see how it says before number 13 27 seconds ago. I can keep hitting U and it'll just move up that history there. And I can also redo my changes by pressing Control R, and it will just move in the opposite direction. So these numbers down here are growing. I can just keep going until it says already at newest change. Okay, so we can also cut, copy, and paste lines just like we did in Nano, but it's a little bit different. So we want to make sure that we're in our normal mode, we're not in insert. So we can cut the current line by pressing DD. This is lowercase d twice. So if I do that, it just cuts the line there. I can paste a line below the current line. So if I want to do it still in this for loop, but below the current line, I just do a lowercase p, and it does it there. Or if I want to paste it above the current line, I just do a capital P. Excellent, so that worked out well. I can also just copy a line by pressing lowercase y twice. So I'll do y, it copies it. And now I can do a lowercase p and it'll just print the line that we just copied below whatever current line we were on. So we can also search and replace, kind of like how we did in Nano. But first I want to set case insensitivity. So the way that we do that is press colon while we're in normal mode and then execute this command. We'll say set ignore case. So pressing enter, whenever we do this search and replace, it will just ignore any case inconsistencies. But if you don't want to do that, you can just not do that command. Okay, so to search for some text, we just type in colon, backslash, and then whatever text we want to search for. So I'll hit echo, and it'll find the first instance of that. So to find the next occurrence, we just press N, and you can just keep doing that. It'll just keep wrapping around the file, but it'll let me know when it's hit the bottom and it's now continuing at the top again. So we can also go in the opposite direction by using a capital N, so it'll find previous occurrences of whatever we were searching for. So it's moving in the opposite direction there. We can also search and replace like we did with Nano by pressing colon and then %s. So this will search every line of a file, not just the current line that we were on. And then I need to do a backslash, and then I'm looking for something. So I type in my string here, that's whatever we're searching for, and then another slash, and then we'll change that. So this is what we're searching for, this is what we're replacing it with, and then we want to put a G, so this is global. So this doesn't really apply in this case, but if I had one line that had two prints on it, it would only find the first match without this G here. So remember, the % is looking through every line, not just the current line, and the G is looking for multiple instances on a line. So we'll just do it for safe measure here. So we'll go ahead and hit enter. And I see it has 3 substitutions on 3 lines. So I can also do kind of like this bash history that we were doing in the shell before, but within Vim by pressing the up and down arrow keys to cycle through this. So to show you that the case insensitivity is working, I can search for capital E, lowercase c, capital H, and then replace that with print. So I hit enter and it changes all of those lowercase echoes, even though we searched for something that was a different case there. So we can save the file by pressing colon, getting back into this command here, and then pressing W, and then you press enter. Pretty simple enough. Now if you want to save it as a new name, you just type in W and then new name.php or whatever you want to name it. So it writes it to a new file. And then to quit out of Vim, you just press :Q. So it'll work just like that. But if we have some changes that we have not saved yet, and then we try to quit out, it will say, hey, wait, you've made some changes since the last time you saved it. We need to add this exclamation point to override this. So we just go :Q exclamation point. This will just abandon all of the changes that we've made since our last save. Or we can combine these. So if I want to save and exit, I just type :WQ and then press enter. All right, so that works out well. However, notice how we went back in here and then the syntax highlighting wasn't on and the case insensitivity doesn't match anymore. Well, that's no good. So we want to get out of there and make it so it's default. Well, all we need to do is create this vimrc file. So we'll do vim in our home directory .vimrc. We'll hit enter. There's nothing here. So we need to just type in those commands that we had before. So the first one we did was set number. Set number. And then we also had syntax on. And we can say set ignore case. So those were just a few of them that we used. There are plenty more that you can do, but we will go ahead and get out of there. So we'll get out of insert mode. We'll press :W to save, Q to quit. And now whenever we go back into vim index.php, it will have the syntax highlighting on and it will have the numbers. And anytime we do a search, it will be for case insensitivity. All right, so that just about wraps it up. Next time we'll talk about piping, redirection, and output. So I'll see you then.